Ricky Bonatadabis circled. Go! Go ahead! Third of the game, Cruz.
Like, how in the world did you know it was time to put Big Connor on the fence?
Sometimes you just, throw it out there and something sticks. But we went on the fence. It's about 2 weeks ago with Connor Cruz. We had lined it up for this week.
Yeah.
And, part of the theme of going on with Yorktown's big right-hander was the Super Saturdays that Yorktown Lacrosse has. It seems like every Saturday they step out of Section 1 and they play somebody.
They got a big Thursday this week, too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's all part of it, but you know what?
Mar's insane. He plays everybody.
He does, and you know what? I'm telling you, in defeat, when I saw them against Ward Melville, and it's not a vintage, epic Ward Melville team, it's a good Ward Melville team, you kind of saw something, and I don't know. I feel good about the Huskers, and they didn't prove me wrong this weekend.
I told you that loss would mess up our poll this year, didn't I?
Yes.
I was like,
yes.
I think they're better than Ward
They're
Melville.
going to have to fight their way back.
What are they doing losing to McDonough last week?
And listen.
That's a bad loss. Don't you're going to go on and on about McDonough, 13-3. But, just like a point of emphasis, McDonough lost to St. Paul's. Garden City, who's struggling to score, beat St. Paul's 13-6.
Yeah.
Bad loss for Yorktown.
Yeah.
So what do you do after a bad loss? You go get yourself a great win.
And you know what? It's like Dave Marr, we always talk about Dave Marr, was such an epic offensive player. Offensive guy, still the all-time leading assist guy at Johns Hopkins. And I don't think, I look at those Hopkins records book, I don't think it's ever going to be broken.
Really?
I mean, the guy just pretty much averaged 35 to 40 assists a year, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. It's not easy, Mike. It's just not easy to total that many assists. But that being said, they had a big defensive week at practice. Because after what happened to McDonough, as you said, he put Austin Fusco, the Syracuse-bound defender, front and center. He said, gather your troops, let's tighten this up, and let's go. And
it doesn't hurt to have Luke Palmadesso either.
Right. And like 3 to 4 minute possessions, as Jack Moran said.
He won 11 of 11 faceoffs.
He's listen, Luke Palmadesso, and I know he's going to do great things at Villanova, but he is just, some guy's profile goes through the roof because they score 5 goals in some summer league, national championship, and all this great stuff.
That's what's ruining lacrosse.
Palmadesso is just a competitor.
Yeah.
He's a gamer.
Yeah.
He's a fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, here's Chaminade, let's go. We lost to McDonough last week. It's not happening again this week. And, hey, it's what we love about lacrosse. People play each other.
Thursday night. Like if you're like an X-Man, like a face-off aficionado, Thursday night, Yorktown Ridgefield. I mean, that is going to be. You get there early because you're going to want to watch the first face-off. I mean, this is no joke. Hey,
the crowd will thin out after the first face-off.
All right, good night, everybody. Note to Jack Moran: don't take an unbeaten Chaminade team to play Yorktown. Ain't good. Second year in a row, they've been unbeaten.
Yeah.
They
lose.
Hey,
listen, you know what? You and I stood there on Tuesday and watched Chaminade St. Anthony's, and that was high octane.
Yeah.
And it's like, not really knowing, you just feel like there's a little drop off when they're not playing the Friars, and I think it came into play.
If there was a wager, would you lose money if somebody said to
Always.
you, okay, yeah, right.
I'm the mush.
Yeah. Who leads the all-time 10-year series? Yorktown Chaminade. Just if somebody threw that at you, you'd say...
I would have said Chaminade.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's 6'5" Yorktown.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah. And you know what? And we should recognize that as that's one of the Tri-State's best rivalries. Because to me, the anatomy of a rivalry is one that goes back and forth. There's no big tilt in dominance.
You know who, other than my son Brian, you know who my favorite goalie in the Tri-State is, right? I've always been a huge fan. Huge. Because Austin Graham.
Oh.
And he's had at times some troubles, but you know why I love him? Because he came in that day when Yorktown was at Smithtown West when he was a sophomore, and they were getting pelted.
Right.
And he just stood in there and said, let's go. Yeah. They beat Chaminade the other day because of this cat.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Good get for Plattsburgh.
Yes.
Very good.
His dad's a great guy.
Yeah.
I love everything about the Grahams. I do.
And
Chaminade doesn't.
And it was a great day in the Graham house on Saturday night because it was his day. It was his day.
It was. Here's Big Mike Davukai to Veracruz on the doorstep. Wow.
Pronounce that name right. His mother yelled at me at Ward Melville.
Davukai! Mommy! There's my man Graham with the save, and then on the rebound, Tom Mangan would knot this thing up at 2. Here's your Nova
Batten
buddy.
down the hatches here. Oh, stick side high. You got to put a little something on it.
Yep. Luke finds Connor. That's Nova to Rutgers. Jack Ty down a goal.
Woo.
Hey, when your name is Ty, what do?
Wow.
You knot things at 3. Still tied at 3. Chris Alvarado. Why not? Give it to the big dog.
Catch it high and keep it high. Speed.
And then, one of your favorites, Nicky Bonatanabas.
Oh, the 4th.
The V-Man. They score 5.
Nicky B.
Connor gets 4 of the 5.
Yeah, Veracruz, big day. Good day for Rutgers to see Connor Veracruz play that stout. And, you know, Veracruz, the third of the Veracruz boys, they were all defenders, his brothers. And it's like he is the, you know, all of a sudden now, the baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's a tradition breaker.
That's good, though. Yeah, that's good for the parents, right? I mean, all those years
Absolutely.
watching your boys run around with poles, and now you got one guy who sticks them in the back of the net.
Who do you think they spoke to after the game?
I got a hunch it was Veracruz.
Oh yeah, that's what we like to think. We always like to think we're getting better every week, every game, and you know, come out with a game like this, we really showed everyone what we got.
You come down here, they're undefeated. Is that thrown out, or do you know what their record is and who they are?
You know, we always know who they are. I mean, they're always a great team, and we play them every year, and they always put up a great fight. So coming down here, especially away, we're really excited about it, and we came out really well today.
It's a big win.
And the great Eddie G, who slings it all together from a video standpoint here at MSG Varsity for us, has an absolute gift for the Veracruz family at the end of this program.
Really?
If you were ever curious on certain goals that Connor has scored through his career,
Yeah.
we will give them to you.
Oh, Eddie the
Because
Magic Man found them all?
Eddie, we're doing this in many different capacities a long time. I've gone on the fence with many different guys. I don't know if we've shown more individual goals
Really?
by a player in one segment. And that's Eddie G, because he's got to go back into the archives. You know, the great goal that Veracruz scored. You know, his coming out party, Mike, is as a sophomore. He beats John Jay in overtime in the Section 1 championship.
Yeah.
It all begins from there. He has that one. I'm telling you right now, he might have 30 of Veracruz's goals and then on the fence.
We're going to put this in this show today,
Yeah,
too, right?
we're going to see it at the
All
end.
We'll see that. One thing Veracruz is going to see from here on out is high-quality opponents. Not that he hasn't already. This is how they're going to end, the Huskers, the regular season. Thursday, they go to Ridgefield. I think Kark might be at that game. I got to talk to him because I want to tape something with him.
He lives in Ridgefield.
I know his brother Brian's going to be at that game.
He's an all-time Husker with 3 state titles there.
Yeah. He goes motorbiking with, what's his name? Colsey. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Those two.
Well, they got a couple of YZ 250s.
So then Saturday, it's the Murphy Cup.
Oh, and all of a sudden, like, you know, with which Lakeland Pandas team is going to come?
And then you host Darien. Darien, remember, they have been lining up and knocking down all the out-of-state teams that beat them a year ago. They are already 2-0, and then they're home for St. Anthony's next, 10 days from now.
Super Saturdays.
And then I'm going to tell you, it's at St. Anthony's, and then I'm going to tell you this right now. Do not be fooled by that 2-5 Wilton record.
Okay.
Wilton has just come through Murderer's Row, and with that,
Coach Wiseman?
Yorktown Wilton that is one of the great rivalries in high school lacrosse in the tri-state.
It's got tenure.
100%. You're right.
That's what it's about.
That's it.
Because, you know what? I grew up in that little town of Valley Cottage, New York, and all those former All-Americans that went to Nyack High School in the late 70s, early 80s, when I was a little tyke, just picking up my first Super Light 1 and Super Light 2, it was always about Wilton and Yorktown on their schedule.
What did you just say? Super Light 1?
Well, those are the original. Yeah, that's the first stick I had.
You're a laxer.
The first stick I had was a Brine Super Light 1. It was about 1980. Not 19. No, even earlier than that. Had to be 77. About 76, 77.
What are you, a midi?
There was a guy in town in Valley Cottage, the great Timmy Bracken is the coach of Glen Rock in New Jersey. His dad, Mr. Bracken, used to sell lacrosse equipment out of his garage and sailboat equipment. It was the only place in Rockland County you could buy a lacrosse stick. You had to go to this guy's garage. And it's so funny now.
Did you ever buy a sailboat?
But nowadays, everybody's got bags of balls. You got balls everywhere. You buy a ball for $1, and when you lost it, we had to walk 2 miles to go buy another one.
Really?
Yeah, because how many could you buy? You were a kid.
Were you good in lacrosse?
No, I'm okay.
Do you have any pictures?
No.
You have no pictures?
I don't know, maybe.
Can we show a picture on the show next week? Hey, what do you think about Coach Lindsay? He must have been saying to himself at the beginning of the year, you got to be kidding me. Listen, Putnam Valley's good, but we're an A school. We can't be losing. I wrote them off. I'm not kidding.
Yes.
I said, you're done. And then if I hadn't erased them out of my life at that point, I'll tell you this. Not only were they erased, the page was crumpled and thrown away, they lose to Horace Greeley. A sub-500 team. It's over for Lakeland Panis.
And they're losing these games dramatically. 10-9 to Putnam Valley, 11-10 to Horace Greeley. You know what I mean? They were sort of beating themselves. But you know what? As much as Lakeland Panis and Jim Lindsay's boys went off Mr. Lax's radar, I think they snuck back on.
I uncrumpled my paper. I rewrote down Lakeland Panis.
They snuck back on.
Because we went on and on last week about John Jay.
We did.
And, this is like, okay, maybe now John Jay's becoming that second team. See, and one thing we need to clear up, when we talk about Section 1, and this is a Hudson Valley show, we're not killing Iona Prep. It's just they don't play in Section 1. They play in the Catholic League. They are, without question, the second best team, Iona Prep.
Yeah.
Up there right now. And they play John Jay this week, Iona.
Nice.
On Thursday. So that's a good game. But what this did, it got me excited because it's like, okay, now we got something. And right now, it's amazing. I am so bad. Like, lose to Horace Greeley, I'm like, it's done, they're over. And now I'm like, there's nobody who can beat him in Class A.
And all of a sudden, the Murphy Cup's got a little life.
It does, because the victory Lakeland Panis had over John Jay.
Here we go. First quarter. You always need the keeper, right? Watch Mike Zingaro. Big save, loses it for a second. Trouble, right? Guess what? Broken clear. It's coming back, Mike. Good couple saves there. Zingaro, huge game, 25 saves. Brian Prunty, muscles in. 3-3 tie. John Jay crossed the river. We're lead by 1 after 1 quarter.
Helps when the defenseman's head falls off his stick, too.
Off the pipe and in for Thomas Maeto to James Flaherty. Rips his shot home. 6-5 Lakeland Panis. Well, look at this one. Behind the back. Skluth to Ryan Lee to Lupinacci. 8-7 John Jay.
The Looper.
And then Joe Cortese gets the goal, falling down. Game is tied at 8. Great battle here. And then in the fourth quarter, John Jay's Michigan bounder, Sean Smith, gets stopped by Zingaro again, but Ryan Lee off the rebound goes downtown. It's 11-9. Fourth quarter. This is when you know things are going well. So Fronu, Andrew the S, puts it home, coast-to-coast goal, 12-10 Lakeland Panis. They go on to win 13-12.
So now we kind of hope we got Andrew's name right, but there was a problem when you called the school today, right?
Well, because Lakeland and Panis are two different high schools. There's Lakeland and there's Panis, and they share athletic departments. And I'm calling up, and I was spelling his name. Sofranu. I just want to get it right. Everybody's asking each other. We're getting guidance counselors on the phone.
Those split school pronunciations are tough.
Tough.
They are. So when you look at, we talked about the loss to Putnam Valley. We talked about the loss to Horace Greeley.
Yep.
Okay. They follow up the game. Victory over John Jay, they lose a heartbreaker to Greenwich.
Good loss, though. Not a good loss, but a loss because I would have thought Greenwich was at a really different level than Lakeland Panis going in, so I expect a little separation there. And they really had their chances in this game.
They did. And when you look at their good wins, now they have John Jay, they have Shenendehowa. They beat Shenendehowa right before they lost to Putnam Valley, and they beat Penn Yan. The upstate Class C school, their only loss this year. So maybe, hey, it doesn't matter. As we say all the time, when you hang the banners in your gym, Section 1 Class A champs, nobody says, hey, what was your record and what'd you do against Putnam Valley? Let's talk, Rebels.
It's definitely boosted our confidence. We had a rough loss. We just played really sloppy against Greeley. Wasn't a good game, but came back in this game, played well.
It's a good win. They're a great program. We haven't beaten them in a couple of years, and it's just good to get the win.
Big Mike's going to Manhattan.
Yeah, he had a whale of a day in that game. 25 saves, and so Murphy Cup Saturday. Then next Saturday the 10th, May 10th, Somers.
Yeah.
Coach Janove's boys, and then a sneaky good Suffern team on the 12th. That's the remainder of their schedule. And although the Suffern girls, they're the ones making headlines now. I know you'll talk about that with Raph and his show, but they gave St. Anthony's the Friars. They're your number one team, right?
Yeah.
All they can handle.
I told Raph, just because Suffern lost that game, don't penalize.
No.
Matter of fact, let's reward. Raph's new best buddy is the Suffern girls coach.
John Callahan?
Yeah. Loves
Great
him.
guy.
Loves
Wonderful
him.
guy. My girls play for him too. He runs the Hudson Valley Hurricanes. One of the more delightful, even keel guys you'll ever meet. Does not have that over the top. He has a couple of assistants there. Oh, let's throw that out there. I won't mention any names. But delightful guy.
Do you know what Callahan said to Raph at the half?
No.
So they're going, you know how they don't go inside lacrosse?
Right.
So the Suffern girls are heading to one end zone, and Raph is cutting across the field to go somewhere. And Raph has never met Coach. And Coach comes over and he goes, "Hey, Raph, you're not leaving, right? This is going to be a great second half."
Oh, my God.
So they were hanging out after the game, talking. Hey, you know who I think
I just got to make sure. It may be Callahan. Let me look at my phone. I don't want to get this wrong. I'll be in trouble with everybody. What a disaster. It's Callahan.
Callahan.
Yeah.
Sorry, Coach.
I'm sorry, John.
Sorry, Coach. You know who I think you did a lot of good work for this week?
Who's that?
Zingaro.
Yeah?
Yeah. You know why? Because you just gave him a great scouting report on the Big V. Connor Veracruz on the fence with JC.
Looks to turn topside. Inside he goes. On the money is Veracruz. Now on the doorstep. Dancing and prancing, and Veracruz has another goal.
Veracruz set up by Bonitatovas. The hat trick.
We're on the fence with number 43 in the Yorktown program. Rutgers bound Connor Veracruz. Listen, welcome to On the Fence.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are the third of the Veracruz boys. There was Kyle and Justin. Both of them were Poles. They were defenders. How'd you ever get a shorty in your hand growing up in that house?
As a little kid, I always liked to score goals on the football field. I used to score touchdowns. So, in the backyard, and you're just always shooting around. I really like getting used to it. I always just like putting the ball in the net, and so I put attack.
This is important to the Veracruz family. I mean, your brothers played here. You're a Yorktown lifer. You grew up as a Yorktown lacrosse kid. You take ownership of the results that happen out on this field?
Oh, yeah, definitely, especially this year being a senior. Me and my boys on the team always come out and always try to play hard on this field. So every time we come out here, it's always playing our hardest and, really coming out well.
High crease. Veracruz has back-to-back for the Huskers.
You look different than you did when you walked through the doors here as a freshman. You had a real commitment to fitness. If you ask your coach, Dave Moore, he says it's made all the difference in the world in Connor Veracruz as a player.
Yeah, my freshman and sophomore year, I was, I don't want to say fat, but I was a little bit overweight. So coaches always used to get at me a little bit, always trying to get me better in shape. So junior year, I came in better shape, and this year even better, and it's really showing on the field.
And then there's the Veracruz big right-handed shot. It's reminiscent of Carcaterra and Colsey, if you ask some of the old-timers here. You like to step into that big right hand.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, always being mentioned in the same group as Carcaterra and Colsey, really big names, always hear them growing up. Just to be mentioned in the same category as them, it's always great. And I really got to actually give it to them. I mean, they did a lot of teaching me when I was younger at all these camps, so it's pretty much come from them.
When you think about your career here, you've known nothing but success when it comes to the section titles. You've won 3. The most memorable, your sophomore year, with the game on the line and right there for the taking. You stuck the game winner against John Jay.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that moment's always going to be with me. It's one of the greatest moments of my life, I'd like to say, and really it's just one of the best moments. Hopefully this year we can get past the semifinal, state semis, and hopefully get a state championship.
All right, you take me down that road. When you look at the scoreboard here and they list all those wonderful state championships, it's been a while since you guys won a state championship. Last year, I think you had a team that could have won. You come up a little short against Niski. And the time is now. You're a senior. Do you set the bar that high?
Yeah, I mean, we always have our 4 goals. Went out in the section, win the Murphy Cup, win the section title, and then finally win the state title. And we graduated a lot of guys last year, but we have a really good team. We brought back a lot of guys this year, and I think we can get it done.
When you play for Yorktown Lacrosse, the captains are dictated by the team.
Yep.
And your teammates voted you captain. You could almost see in your play that you want to take it on your shoulders.
Oh yeah, I mean, being a captain, especially voted by the guys, it's always a great honor. It really makes you feel like you have a lot more pressure on you. I mean, it's not bad, it's good pressure, but you know, the guys are always looking up to you. You're trying to step it up a little bit.
Connor Veracruz is on target again.
One thing you know when you play for Yorktown, Saturdays are going to be super. You might find yourself at Ward Melville. You might find yourself at home taking on Shen. I mean, it's a decorated schedule, and the challenges are mighty every Saturday here.
Yeah, definitely. Saturday games are always great, especially on a day like today. It's a beautiful day out. We really come really excited for these games, and you know, after a long week, we have to really show the team how we play.
You represent Yorktown now, and soon enough you'll be representing the State University of New Jersey. You're going to be a Scarlet Knight. You're heading off to Rutgers to play at your track field. Exciting?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have a great relationship with the coach there, Coach Brecht. My brother played for him at Siena, so we have a really good relationship going into there, and I really hope to play.
Connor, the fourth quarter in these games against these big opponents is where everything changes. You look at the game last year against Niskayuna. You guys had your chances in the fourth quarter. You know, you can do so much as an individual. Do you feel like when you get to these fourth quarters of these big games, you want the ball on your stick?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, even last week against Ward Melville, I mean, fourth quarter is really where it comes down to. So I like to have a ball on my stick. I mean, I like to think I can score goals. So definitely with the team, my ball on my stick, and the guys working together well on the field, we can definitely pull it out, hopefully.
Is there a zone that number 43 for Yorktown gets into where, you know, okay, I want this right now?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, there's usually that one point in the game where, you know, things aren't going our way. I'll try to pick it up a little bit just to get things going our way, get a little bit of momentum.
Not bad. How'd your first on the fence go?
Not bad.
Hey, you gotta love it. We're on the fence.
Yep.
Number 43, Connor Veracruz. This guy, stay out of his way when he loads up that big right hand.
That's true. Very good. You know what his zone is? Chaminade. He ate him alive last year as well. I watched that game last year. That was a very good interview. He was nice and comfortable there too.
He's a great. Listen, he's a great kid. He's a Husker. He's a captain, as we said, and you know what? He set the tone for senior year right away. When I caught up to them for that Ward Melville game, they already played a couple games. I said, "How's Connor doing?" And Dave Marr goes, "Well, he scored 4, 4, and 5. He's ready."
Yeah. Very impressive. You knew the name of the Rutgers lacrosse field.
Your track field.
That was very good. Yorktown will be in this tomorrow. The question is, do they move up?
The answer is yes.
Oh, you know that? Have you?
No, I don't know that.
I'm working on the poll.
You have to be impressed with them beating Chaminade. And most impressively, Mike, the fact that they did it last year meant that Chaminade wasn't getting caught off guard. It wasn't because they played a big game against St. Anthony's 3-4 days before that. When you beat them last year, Chaminade knew what they were getting into at Yorktown. And listen, we love Sean Cerrone. He's my guy. He's going to Villanova. He's an absolute beast. For the first time this season, he didn't score a goal. That's not easy to do, to hold Cerrone scoreless. Not easy to do. It won't happen again.
The kid Harwood, the goalie for Bronxville, was spectacular in the 6-5 loss to Sachem North. I picked Bronxville to win that game. I am now public enemy number 1 out at Sachem North.
By the way, here it is. If the New York State playoff brackets were the Oscars, and they said, and the Oscar for the team that nobody wants to play goes to Bronxville. There is no doubt about it.
They're going to win a state championship.
They could stop you. They could score, and they're hungry. They always play hungry.
Buddy, listen to this. This is what Oregon's guys have done. Now again, they're 6-4, and you know I go on and on about their schedule and everything. Got to win one of these things. Okay, you have to win. Their losses, and right now, this loss is starting to look better because in New Jersey, Bridgewater Raritan is starting to play very good lacrosse. Right. They lost 5-3 back in March. They lost to our ranked Yorktown team by a field goal, 13-10. They lost to Garden City on a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 7th, 4-2. And they lost to Sachem North, 6-5. I'm going to say this, had they won one of those games, they're in the top 20. I debate it every week because I truly think they are one of the top 20 teams in the tri-state. They just don't have a signature win. They don't.
I just hope either Bronxville or Yorktown win the state title this year. I would like to see it. I would like to see a little.
All right, well, let's think.
infusion.
Okay, so let's think about it. So let's. We're not going to say over the top, but for the semifinals, okay, Bronxville would have to beat, I think, either Friends or Cold Spring Harbor. I think the Long Island C champion is coming out of Nassau County.
Yeah.
The B champion, Suffolk B, is up in the air. And could you right now say maybe Lynbrook in Nassau B?
Big win over Manhasset. Yeah, they're unblemished, right?
One loss to Friends.
One loss to Friends. And Friends, listen, Friends is no newcomer to this. I mean, okay, they were right there last year too. So
it's there for the taking for Section 1. Really is.
Yeah.
And if you had put Iona Prep in the AAA division, they might have won that too. Boy, we opened up a can of worms with that, huh?
I got to the Chaminade St. Anthony's game going, oh, you guys got it all wrong with this Iona Prep stuff. They don't want. Oh my guys, says, look, I know, whatever. I spoke to Trezano.
I think Rick must be happy, right?
I spoke to Weiserick. Okay, we got it all straight now. They play in the New York City League. We know.
Trezano must have been into last week's show. Great win for Yorktown. Lakeland Panis, Murphy Cup, relevant.
It's going to be fun. Always is. And there's something to that game in the name of the pure core and fabric of lacrosse in Yorktown. Mr. Murphy.
Big Charlie Murphy.
Clark grew up in that yard of his, throwing that ball around.
Enjoy your lacrosse week, everybody.